In this tutorial, we will tie a single column tie with a boola knot. A single column can be an arm, a leg, the waist, the neck, or sometimes if you bundle everything together without any more complications, but just wraps, that could still be considered a tie around a single column. One intention of my tutorials is to teach you how to have fun while you're practicing. So even though we are starting to do the most basic ties, we still want to have our partner not be totally bored out of their minds. So little things can make the difference between a boring practice session and maybe a little bit more fun, a little bit more memorable, a little bit more intimate. So many steps you can take. One of them is, if your rope is bundled like this, you can open it with a crack and hit your partner in the meantime. Obviously bloopers and silliness are going to happen, and that's fine. Part of the mindset that you can have is to laugh at silly moments that happen or small mistakes, because if you take yourselves too seriously, it's going to be more difficult to have fun. As always, it's a good idea to trace your rope from the two ends to the middle, which is called the bite, or some call it the head, while the end with the knots could be called the tail, if you like. So we always start with the bite, and it's a good idea to trace our rope so that when we finish our rope and we want to connect another one, it's going to be easier to have just two knots coming together instead of having one part of the rope hanging out like this. It's going to be more ugly. It's going to be a waste of rope. So let's trace our rope every time we open a new bundle. Another small thing that you can use to have a bit more fun, to engage your partner a little bit more, is to take the initiative and take the hand. Because of course, they are prepared to assist you. They give you the hands. You can do that. That's not a sin. But it can be a little bit more fun if you take what you want. Within consent. So the single column tie with the boola, you can start in 4 different directions. From the top to bottom. And also from bottom to top. Also from left to right, or from right to left. In this tutorial, I'm going to teach you one way, but when you get the hang of it, you can do it in whichever direction you want. But just get accustomed to one, and then you will see that you can apply it in many positions and in many different ties. So, we've taken the hand, we make one wrap. We try to always avoid having twists because they can cause nerve compression and then nerve damage and pain. So we make one wrap. We already can control the arm and the weight of the arm with the rope. So I usually put my fingers underneath. 2 fingers are enough for me. And then we make a second wrap. Again, we try to avoid having overlaps, having twists. We apply light tension as we slide the rope through so we can maintain the tension on the rope. And then we can make a second wrap. Here is where we crisscross the bite with the long end, or the head with the tail. Crisscross like this. And then we push or we pull the bite under all of the wraps, like this. Here we can take advantage of the simplicity of the single column tie with the boola, that we can adjust the tension and the tightness. So we can make it as tight as we need. And here you have a few options. To me, the best option is to finish the single column tie with the boola knot with the twisted knot, the way I've learned to call it. There are multiple ways to do it. One way is to put the bite through my pointing finger, extend my thumb at the height of the bite, as high as my pointing finger is, put the long end over my thumb, not under, over my thumb, and thus I create a small loop here, and through that loop I can shove the bite through, pinch everything so I can take my finger out, I catch the bite again, transition quickly to maintain the tension on the bite and the long end here. Both of them need to be under the same tension, and then with the long end, this bit, I slide sideways, outwards and down. And then I catch the knot, maintaining a straight bite, absolutely, and catching the knot and tightening. It's a simple knot if you do it in a way that all pieces of rope are under tension, there is nothing loose. This knot will be strong enough to pull hard without it collapsing.